The other big announcement that we just had, and I have to, of course, talk about this. Our man's YellowFlush, you know him maybe as more on the content creation side. He has spoke about the kind of cultural commentary and stuff, and now he's throwing his hat in there as a again, being part of the solution, right? Doing his own thing, which I think is, for those that have a creative bone in their body, I do believe this is the way to go. We have a lot of guys that specialize in commentary, and they serve a purpose. They should be out there speaking about what's going on, especially culturally. That said, we do need more creators if we're going to fix the problem. I think people should kind of understand that everything, for the most part, that's mega corporate or attached to a mega corporation is compromised. It's not going to be a whole lot of changes that you're going to make happen on that. It's too compromised. It's way too corporate. So we need to build, for the future. And people that have that creative bone in their body should go create. So I want to give a big shout out to our man's Flash, as well as John Dillard, working alongside him, who is a professional, really good at what he does as an artist. So the Mighty Golden Patriot will be published by Rippasend. And for those of you that don't know what Rippasend is, let me break it down. Rippasend is our creator-owned publishing and services wing of Rippaverse. So it doesn't exist in our universe, but we are publishing. So it gives creators access to the infrastructure that we have built. We have a lot of things figured out. So people that want to take advantage of that, they are creators that are, obviously it's on a kind of, we approve it. We're not just going to work with anybody. We can't afford to do that. Plus it doesn't make sense. And through our consultation process and everything, we make sure this is a good fit for everybody that's involved. Because my goal with Rippasend is to obviously handle what a publisher would handle and get more eyes on the project. So the whole incentive there is to, it is a business at the end of the day, but we want to not only send these things over the finish line, but we want to get as many people that are interested in that type of material, in this case comic books, to buy it, which puts more money in your pockets, which means that you can, of course, expand should you have that sort of desire. And YellowFlush does want to keep this thing going on. So, he hit me up after, and I want to give a shout out to Dan Vask in the chat, big shout out. But he hit me up after we had announced the Rippasend. And, he was just intrigued by it, YellowFlush, that is. And I was surprised because, when you are at a certain level, you have a tendency to want to do things on your own. And I believe that if he had just asked me hey, you want some advice stuff, I would have had no problem giving it to him. But he wanted to work with us. So I take that very seriously because this is a highly anticipated project for those that are followers of Flash. And he's been talking about this. John Dillard, everybody likes him. He's a great artist, also deserves every bit of success that's going to come from this, right? And they are collaborating on this project, and I take that very seriously. We want to make sure this does as good as it possibly can. And it's going to be the second Rippasend project that you guys will see. The first being, of course, Jay's Achromatic Chronicles Green. So I'm excited about this. I'm stoked about this. Again, it's something that I take very, very seriously because this is he didn't have to come to us. Okay, he didn't have to publish through us by any means, but he wanted to, and we're going to make sure that we take this bad boy to the top. And I do want to touch on something real quick. This is just more on the personal tip and has little to do with Rippasend. There are people that are giving him shit, unfortunately, and not just, the usual suspects, but Flash, as well as Dillard, but especially Flash, because he comes from the more, people know him more as a commentator. So it's like, hey, it's this YouTuber guy who's, doing something creative. And a lot of it tends to come from elitist, right? And these are problems that we have stated that plagues often pretty much every, let's say, entertainment industry, where you have people that are part of the old guard that see new blood coming in, and then they act like they are more deserving of it, of the success that they know Flash is going to get. And you shouldn't look at things like that. Look, there are going to be more, definitely now, right? This whole, you been doing this for X amount of years, or you're part of the industry, right? You went through the proper channels. To put this bluntly, nobody gives a shit. And you need to understand, and I'm just saying so you protect you and yourself and your own assets, this is going to be the way of the future. This whole traditionally trained thing where you have to jump through hoops and kiss ass in order to be a part of the industry, those days are done. Okay? You're going to see a lot more of this in entertainment because, well, things are far more easily accessible. So people can learn things more efficiently without having to go through your typical schooling or having to be lectured by all these other people who did it their way. And plus, let's be honest, you guys don't have it figured out anymore. This is what I said even as it pertains to the Rippaverse. We're entering in this new age of publishing, especially as an independent. Nobody has this thing completely figured out. They have their own way of doing things, and that may work for them, but it also might not work for anybody else. That's because it's the Wild West out there, and that's a glorious, beautiful thing. This is what decentralization is all about. It's not about a group of people, a cabal, if you will, that determines who can do a comic or who can do a movie or who can do TV. That's not up for anybody to determine anymore. Now the means have been decentralized, and now people can go get out there and be great, be awesome. And it's going to be up to the audience to determine, which is how it should be. That's how markets work. Not a group of elitists determining what's good or determining what you should be valuing. No, that's not how this works. The audience, the customers, the market determines if this is good, if this is not, if this is something that they're into, if it's something they're not into. And that's how it should be. So you're going to see a lot of youngsters, and let's be honest, there'll be guys that are going to come in and they're going to kick all of our asses, even mine. And I welcome that. That's how it should be, right? Go out there, be great. And yes, when you are working like in our case, you're going to have that mixed blood, right? You're going to have the new cats with the mixed in, the Chuck Dixons, the Joe Bennett's, guys that have been doing working in this comic book industry for 30, 40 years. And I think that's, they see it from their perspective. You're going to have others that see it from their perspective. Newer blood taking advantage of the technology that's out there, utilizing social media, digital marketing, all that good stuff. And when you have that collaboration, right, you get a beautiful thing. And there are those like the Chuck Dixons who look at a new blood back. Big shout out to Mark Miller as well, because he's the same way. Guys that have been around longer than I have, and they've been nothing but encouraging for young people that are giving it a shot. No matter how little they are, or as far as their expertise, right? They may be relatively young. They may know what they're doing, right? But maybe they didn't, they didn't work for the big dogs before. It doesn't mean that they don't have the talent, and it certainly doesn't mean that they aren't capable, right? So for those, and it's funny, you get people that talk out of both sides of their mouth, right? If Flash and others had sat there and just complained and griped all day long, it was always, because they used to tell me that, right? It was, well, all you do is complain. Why don't you go, if you don't like it, go do your own thing. Okay, cool. And then we go do our own thing, and it's like, oh, well, You haven't gone through the trenches. You haven't gone through the proper channels. You're speaking out both sides of your mouth, okay? But I do personally believe that people that have a creative bone in their body, if you can give it a shot to do something, doesn't need to be comics. If you have a love for comics, give it a shot. But if it's for something else, look, man, there's never a better time than now. So I want to give a big shout out for him taking this gamble, working with a professional like my man John Dillard as well, and I'm going to work extremely hard. I'm treating this project as if it is a base Rippaverse project, and we're going to see it to the top. From what we've seen and gathered, this thing is awesome. You're going to absolutely love it. You'll have more information on that. We'll show off the interiors, all that good stuff. It's going to get the love and treatment that you do anticipate from any Rippaverse campaign and or collection. So I want to give a big shout out to YellowFlush, but also I want other folks that have aspirations to go be great, to go be great. I'm relatively young. I understand that, right? But in the same, I'm not going to be the young dude forever. So there will be guys that are young that will come through, and they're going to kick all of our asses. Should you need any assistance from me? Should you need any sense of encouragement? You need anything, a second eye, whatever, I'm here for you, because I truly believe in decentralization. I believe in this parallel economy. I want to see it thrive. I want to see it go be great. And I don't do the envy. I don't do the jealousy. I don't do the I've been working harder than everybody. I should be more deserving of the love and adoration and admiration for. I don't do that stuff. That stuff is generally for, catty folks that, got issues. I'm not into that stuff. I want to see other people be great, which is why I do love seeing other people do awesome things, especially those that are in the space. When I saw, for example, our man's Razor Fist go out there and kill it with Ghosts of the Badlands, which I have, it's awesome. I love to see that sort of stuff, man. I love to see these guys going out there being great. So I hope this stuff and you're going to see this with Rippasend. We got Jay's book upcoming. There's going to be other creators that are going to be here. And yeah, there will be inevitably, I almost NDA'd myself. We already got guys that have been a part of the industry forever that we are going to be publishing. But if there's new blood, there's new talent, we want to see that stuff through. We think that it deserves a gamble, if you will. I want to see it happen. I want to see it through, and we're going to be utilizing Rippasend to make sure we send these projects over the finish line. So I wanted to just put that out there again for you guys that are not familiar with Rippasend. You can go to rippasend.com and get some more information, but it is our publishing wing and services wing. When I say services wing, everything that we would offer as a publisher, we do offer individually. So let's say that you housed your own campaign or whatever, and now it's fulfillment time and you don't want to deal with the fulfillment stuff. You can, of course, work with Rippasend, and we will fulfill that, of course, for you should you want that, or if it's general consultation, whatever. We pretty much every aspect of the publishing deal we will offer individually. That's a big advantage that we have of doing our own distribution. That also applies to non-book related stuff as far as fulfillment. We want to throw that out there. We are capable of fulfilling whatever. It doesn't matter if you are, I don't know, a company that just sells shirts, right, or hats or whatever, and you want a company to work with, an independent company to work with to do the fulfillment, we can do that. Store hosting with the Rippasend.com, that will be getting an overhaul when we do launch Jay's Achromatic Chronicles Green. Same thing there. We'll host it if that's something that you want us to do. It's a really, like I said, a lot of people internally that we work with are really excited about Rippasend because they think that it can even do better than the Rippaverse and be something that's very lucrative for the company. So we'll see what happens. But right now, we are taking it step by step. We have a handful of creators that we're going to be working with Rippasend. It's a growing list. 2025 is going to be massive for Rippasend, and I'm really, really excited, man. It really does target, because you can work with a general publisher, but it really does target a lot of independent creators that want to sell directly to customer, right? As opposed to dealing with retailers and all that stuff, which you can, of course, as you guys know, we have our own retailer portal at rippaverse.com. So we do have our comic book shops, for example, that we work with, but most of our sales are directly to customer, and Rippasend's going to be intriguing for those that want to sell. That means that's better for you, right? Puts more money in your pocket, allows you to pay your artists, pay your creators, and that's what it's all about, having people work within whatever entertainment industry that they're in. Of course, comics is what we and other books are going to be what we specialize in. So again, thanks to you all. Coming very, very soon, the mighty Golden Patriot through Rippasend by YellowFlush and our man's John Dillard. Big shout out.
Clip, clip, and snip, snip.